Hello friends, welcome back. I wanted to talk to you really quick about what's been going on in the news. Okay, so you probably heard that Biden was just over in Israel, right? Well, there's like all kinds of stuff happening straight out of the Bible. And I've had so many people who do not even believe are saying this is stuff straight out of the Bible. So it's like, I just feel so excited because I feel like we live in the most exciting time in history. We are the generation that's going to see the rapture. I feel it. I don't know if any of you have heard what's getting ready to happen in Iran, but Putin is getting ready to go over there sometime next week and meet up with Iranian and Turkey's leaders and put together a type of union or partnership with them. So there's like all kinds of drama and discord happening between Turkey and Iran. So Putin is basically going to step in as a mediator and put together some sort of alliance with them, which is straight out of the book of Ezekiel. It's like, oh my Lord, it's exactly what it says it's going to happen. And it doesn't turn out well for them. Just in case you haven't read it, I would suggest go and read it and see. Also, how many of you heard about some article or thing? My mom actually sent me a video coming out of New York where they're actually teaching people how to prepare for nuclear attack. The heard, and maybe you have too, that there's like nuclear submarines or something off of the east and the west coast. So I'm here on the west coast. I don't know if that's true or not, but why is New York teaching their citizens what to do in case of a nuclear attack? Which, by the way, it almost sounds like the things that they're suggesting almost sound the same as it did in the 50s, where they're like, get under your desk and cover your head. Like, it's not really going to do anything, you know? That's just my opinion. I do think it's a good idea if you do not have food stocked up just for at least a couple of months, 2 to 3 months. Now is the time to go get it. The prices are going up. There's shortages all over the place. We already know if all of these things are happening, all of these prophecies are coming to fruition, then the famine and the price hike, we already know that those things are going to happen too, because the Bible tells us it will. In the book of Luke, it's probably in all of the Gospels, but in Luke 21, I think it is, talks about when you see these things happening, look up because your redemption draws near. We know it's coming. I personally feel like the rapture will happen in the beginning of the tribulation or before it even starts. I don't know. We've talked about that. Many of you have commented on past videos, your opinions on that. I love to hear your thoughts on it, so leave them in the comments below. No matter when it happens, I had asked not very long ago for you guys to share questions you have about the rapture. And this video I'm not going to be answering those questions yet because there's quite a few of them. But I will say one of the biggest questions that I got, or the most, was about what we're going to look like. Are we going to be like flesh and blood taken up? Are we going to be spirit? Are we going to be changed into a spirit? What are we going to look like? And yeah, that was probably the biggest question. So I will be going over that today. I got my notes here, and I gotta say, even looking this up for you, I mean, I already had my thoughts about it, but when I looked up all the verses for you, it was just so encouraging and filled me with hope and excitement. So I hope it does you too. So Philippians 3:21 says, our earthly bodies will be transformed to look like Jesus's glorious heavenly body. So we will look the same as what Jesus looked like when he was transfigured. Remember? So when he was transfigured, it's Matthew 17:2, it says, and he was transfigured before them, that's a couple of his disciples, and his face shone like the sun, and his garments became as white as light. So, and it depends on which translation you look at. And I like Bible Hub. If you go on BibleHub.com, it gives you all the different translations. I really like to look through all of them, and you just get such a full understanding when you read all the different translations, and they all use different words to describe. It's just so, it just fills you with such joy. 1 John 1:5 says, God is light, and we know that. In him there is no darkness at all. Ezekiel 1:28 says, as the appearance of the rainbow in the clouds, so was the appearance of the surrounding radiance. Such was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. I find this fascinating. Not only is the rainbow a symbol of God's promise, but it's also what we're going to look like. The light, the surrounding around us is so brilliant and sparkling and diamondy that we're going to have like rainbow effects because we're so bright and shining. So I found that fascinating. Especially with all the talk of what's going on with the rainbow these days. The rainbow has been taken, and it isn't funny. Isn't it funny how the enemy always copies God? And the rainbow has been taken and tried to be used, but it's the Lord's. It's still the Lord's. Not only is it his promise, but it is also his appearance. So yeah. Ezekiel in general, I mean, there was a lot of verses in Ezekiel, so if you have time, just go through them. And if you want to find another verse besides Ezekiel 1:28, that's the one I shared. If you want to find another one, leave it in the comments below. A lot of people don't actually look up in the Bible what it says, so if you leave it in the comments, they'll see it there. So Ezekiel in general has a lot of verses that talk about what the Lord looks like, and the glory of the Lord, and fire, and the brightness. The brightness is so astonishing. It lights up everything around it. The whole earth is lit by the brightness of the Lord. So yeah, look those up. Also in Psalms and 2 Samuel, talk about the brightness of the Lord and how it even kindles the fire, the fire of the Holy Spirit, being fired up for the Lord, and being on fire for God. But his brightness, in Psalms and 2 Samuel actually talk about the brightness being so bright it kindles the fire around him. So yeah. Daniel 12:3 says, those who are wise will shine like the brightness of heaven, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever. Sparkling and brilliant and shining. It just sounds so beautiful. Matthew 13:43 says, the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. 1 John 3:2 says, beloved, we are now the children of God, but he has not yet shown us what we'll be like when Christ appears, but we do know that we will be like him. We are going to look, Jesus was the first fruits, right? We talked about that before. Jesus is the first, and we're heirs with him. That's what the Bible says, right? We are children of God. He is the Son of God. We are his children. We are going to look like Jesus. So that is what our heavenly bodies will look like. I personally have a theory about this, and it's just my own thoughts. and maybe you have different thoughts about it, but I kind of feel like that those that are taken in the rapture will be taken bodily, because Jesus, you know, when he was transfigured before his disciples and they seen him, it was bodily. And Enoch, when he was taken, it was bodily. Elijah, when he was taken, it was bodily. So I kind of feel like those that are raptured will be taken bodily. That's just my thoughts. And transfigured. I feel like we will be transfigured. Those that make it through the tribulation, because there will be people being saved. That was another big question. Multiple people asked that about that. There will be people that get saved during the tribulation. And, you know, if you're one of those people that's wavering and saying, you know, well, if I don't get saved now, there's hope I can get saved then, and I can still make it to heaven eventually. You don't want to have to go through the tribulation. Now is the time. Right now is the time to accept the free gift. Prepare your heart, prepare your mind, because the Lord is coming, and it is soon. It is very soon. All these things are happening so fast. It literally, I've talked about this before, in 2020, it felt like a spiritual boom. Something happened that shook the world. Everything speeded up at that time. Everything has been sped up. Everything's been happening really fast. And I feel like it's amazing. It amazes me to see all of these prophetic things straight out of the Bible happening right before our eyes. You know, also talking again about Biden was just over in Israel, and you know, a lot of their talks was about whether Israel should be divided. Joel talks about that. The book of Daniel talks about that. The Antichrist is going to divide Israel, and whatever nation divides Israel, a curse is on them and judgment is on them. So I pray that it's not America, but I believe that it will be America that does that. So yeah, that's another controversial topic, but that's just my thoughts on it. Yeah, next after that, I mean, the rapture could happen at any time, because I feel like we're on the verge of everything starting. Everything that's been talked about in Revelation as far as the tribulation, it's ready. Everything is being laid out like cards, getting ready to happen now, like really soon. I'm just really excited to see the Lord and meet him face to face, and to meet you in the air, and someday we will all be talking about this in heaven, and laughing about how worried we were, and you know, those type of things. So yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, and as always, I hope you're having a great day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye bye for now.